Hare Krishna, devotees, viewers. We are very happy to welcome you all for episode 3 of our Agents of Change talk show. Episode 1, we interviewed Braj Vihari Prabhu. Episode 2, we interviewed Mahatma Prabhu. And today we have a very, very special guest, His Grace Radha Vallabha Prabhu. Radha Vallabha Prabhu is a very senior devotee, a very experienced devotee. So very grateful that he's taken his precious time to be with us. It's early morning in California. Still, Prabhuji has agreed to be in this talk show. Very grateful to him. So Prabhuji is basically from Orissa, the land of Jagannath. And from Orissa, he went to Mumbai, where he pursued his MTech in IIT Bombay, which is one of the dreams of every Indian. After going there, he met the devotees and he joined as a monk in Radha Gopinath temple, which is again a big drastic leap. And after becoming a monk there, one of his services was cooking, and he got into cooking and he became such an expert cook that he actually traveled around the world to learn cooking from different people, and he was cooking regularly for so many years. So to do any service consistently for so many years is not that easy. So Prabhuji has consistently done the service of cooking. I have seen Prabhuji in action, cooking for brahmacharis, all the monks there, resident monks, 3 times a day. Satisfying different monks from different parts of the world, different parts of India is not easy. The Sunday feast festivals where thousands and thousands of people come. And the yatra cooking, we have an annual pilgrimage that goes to one of the holy places. Cooking for 5,000 devotees for 3 times a day is a great effort, and all their cooking is so meticulous, up to the standard with cleanliness. In fact, our Radha Gopinath temple's kitchen is IOSA certified kitchen. Prabhuji has been pictured in the National Geographic Channel for India's mega kitchen. So that's a great achievement. And one of the biggest achievements in Prabhuji's life is he's been the personal cook of Radhanath Swami for 17 years. That's not easy at all. He's got so much mercy. He's cooked for his guru, served him so nicely. He's also learned yoga, and he's a certified yoga trainer. He has done workshops of yoga around the world. He's also got into Ayurveda. He knows a lot about diet, what is the right diet for everyone. He's authored 2 books, Bhajan Se Bhojan and Sattvik Vegan, 2 cookbooks. So very happy that His Grace Radha Vallabha Prabhu is there with all of us. And Prabhuji is the founder of Yogi Plate. So through this forum, he teaches people right cooking, the right kind of diet. He's done seminars around the world. He's traveled around the world, teaching people the right kind of cooking, the right kind of food that a yogi should eat. So from IIT Mumbai to monk to a master chef, Prabhuji has had an amazing journey. So very grateful that Prabhuji is there with us. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for being with us. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ACHYUT GOPAL Prabhu. But you did not mention that I got married also.
Yes. So Prabhuji now is, after being 20 years as a monk, Prabhuji has decided to get married. He's married to a Hansapriya Mataji. They have settled in California. And there, Prabhuji, from California, he teaches people different seminars on yoga, diet, Ayurveda, and food.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So that's another change. That's another change. So
Yeah.
that's why. So thank you, ACHYUT GOPAL Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Dear brother of our Shubhalash Prabhu. And because, I have a strong connection with Shubhalash Prabhu. We have not talked much in the ashram, but we are liking for each other, And so therefore I extend my love to ACHYUT GOPAL Prabhu, and whatever he asks, I try to fulfill to my best capacity.
I have known Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I have seen Prabhuji for so many years, and even I didn't have much interactions with him at all. but I always had great respect and reverence for him. So very grateful that Guruji is
Krishna's
kind to us.
mercy. I got so much of services. That's Krishna's and Guru's mercy on me. I don't know how I did all those things, but I try to be as sincere as possible and try to render the services. That's how it is. Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you all the devotees in Goa for giving me a chance to speak about Krishna and speak about devotional life. That's something makes me happy. So I'm really grateful to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The first thing we would like to know is, how did you come in Krishna consciousness, and how did you make this journey after doing your MTech in IIT Bombay? How did you make the shift of moving to a monastery as a monk? What was that turning point that happened in your life?
As you correctly mentioned, the changes in life are not easy. Generally we resist changes. Like we have, for example, cooks who are cooking certain things in temple. Because I have more experience in cooking, so those examples come to me very naturally. So if the cooks are cooking certain things and you try to train them to change, it's very difficult. In corporate also, certain management system is there, certain things are working, but the leader organization, they think that we are not growing much, so we need to change. So when change comes, there's a lot of resistance that comes within and without, both. Because without, there are like fear, what's going to happen, we're not sure about it. And then there is within also, because there is certain pattern developed in life, certain dreams that we have developed. To shift from that is also difficult. But only thing that pushes you to change is a strong willpower, right?
Correct.
Especially the changes that I have gone through, it's like really drastic, one after other. And every time we have to, something come from within that, yes, I want to do it. I see goodness in it. I see something good happening out of it. And then only we are able to shift. So becoming devotee, there are a lot of factors. First, I would thank my parents, my father, my mother, who raised me in a very Krishna conscious atmosphere. We used to have our own, altar, and we're all, Vaishnavas. Like I remember offering to Sitaram and Ramayana Katha, like your brother is doing a lot nowadays. And hearing about Lord Ram, Sita, and Hanumanji, and growing up in that culture. And Radhashtami also used to observe, invite guests, devotees at our home, and always eating prasadam. I used to, in our home, my mother would quickly cook and offer to Sitaram. And because I'm in a hurry to go to school, so I would eat from the same plate that is offered and go. And my mother also didn't know. It was all done in innocence. Later I told her, after becoming ISKCON devotee, you cannot do that. Like, it's not good. The Lord's son, we are like, very fallen persons. We cannot put it that. So my mother will accept. But in the early childhood, I remember going to school, eating from that plates. Very good memory, fond memories. So that culture, getting attached to Lord Ram and taking shelter of Lord Ram was always there. Always there. What made me, but I never thought of becoming a monk in my life. Never thought like that. But in IIT, we were studying and I wanted to know Bhagavad Gita. Why? Before coming to IIT, actually, I was preparing for civil services, IS exam and all. So in that, I had to do a lot of general studies. Okay. But then there were some family constraints. I had to work as well as study for IS exam. It was a little tough. I cleared the prelim exam, but main exam requires a real good effort, which I was not able to give because of 9 to 5 job. So then I decided to come to IIT, get exam and come to IIT instead of unnecessarily struggling a thing which is so difficult in that time frame. So then what happens through all the struggles, Lord Ram was always there in my life. But I never thought of becoming a monk. But after coming to IIT, by the time, because I was studying for civil services, IS exams, UPSC, so I was studying various books. One of the book was about Mahatma Gandhi. And his concept of vegetarianism really appealed to me a lot. So although I was raised in Vaishnava culture, when I went out, stepped out to study in university and other places, I used to have occasionally non-vegetarian item out of ignorance, basically, like eggs and things like that. But then I saw some time back, it was in Delhi, chicken being slaughtered very helplessly right in front of me. Then I thought, my God, this is something horrible. We can't be part of this. So totally, again, because of that culture from childhood, it helped me to avoid something wrong, something sinful. Not because I didn't thought of sin factor, but I did thought about the violence and the helplessly, creature dying in front of your eyes. It's very, heart-rendering. So then I was studying Mahatma Gandhi lifestyle, and there, about all these concepts of vegetarianism was very nicely mentioned. And on the top of that, the book was speaking about how Gandhi was referring to Bhagavad Gita again and again. And in our Bhagavad Gita, as it is also, we have Mahatma Gandhi's quote, right? Yeah. Whenever there is a problem, everything becomes dark. I look into the book and I see some light. That's a wonderful realization that he has got from the book. Anyway, that helped me. That helped me to go back to Bhagavad Gita. It was like a reference, like a research work. When I came to IIT, Radheshyam Prabhu was doing Gita course. And one of my friend, because I was already searching, one of my friend knows that this guy wants to know Gita. So he registered me for the course without telling me. See, tomorrow I'm going to register 20 rupees. Not much. But that I like that gesture from my friend. He spent 20 rupees and got me registered. And he also registered, but he kept for only one day. He never continued. But then when I saw the beauty of philosophy that Srila Prabhupada is teaching and explaining, then I thought of living the life of Bhagavad Gita, and the best way is to live a monk life. So then I decided to gradually shift. It was tough. It was very tough in the sense my family actually needed me at that time. But I saw in my, like Gandhi says, there is darkness everywhere. I saw, even if I work and make $1 million that time, I thought money is not the solution to the problems that I experienced during that time. So money is not going to solve. Only thing that can solve, probably, amazing Krishna. And believe it or not, I'm not saying anything mystic about it, but I did experience Krishna taking care of everything. Literally everything was taken care. Yes, there was some problem here and there. That's part of life. But at the end of the day, you feel it's all taken care of. So in this way, I gradually decided that I must continue as a monk. That is the best thing at that point. And that change was very strong and difficult. But I went for it. And thanks to Radha Gopinath temple, and Guru Maharaj and all the devotees there, I felt at home. I felt sheltered and at home. And because of that shelter, it helped me to grow in my seva. So that's how it was.
Great.
Yeah.
So that was the first change in your life, from IIT Mumbai to as a monk, as a brahmachari there. But when you entered the monastery, did you immediately get into the cooking seva? How did you land up in this cooking world?
No, cooking, not in temple, it was before.
I see.
Way before. I mean, when I was a kid also, I would walk into the kitchen when my mother is not there and make some fancy items like pakoras. So even complicated, like patata is complicated for kids, right? To make stuffing and put it in batter and fry it. So, and that's the first thing I made when I came to Iskcon. We had Nityantra, this festival in IIT. So I made batata vada. You know batata vada?
Yeah, yeah.
Often, besan batter,
Hmm.
chickpea flour butter, and then deep fried. So I made it for all the devotees, around 100 or 120 I made, and everybody loved it. I don't know anybody remembers, but I remember because I made it. Anyway, so even before that, when I was a kid, I used to cook in the kitchen. I used to chop vegetable. Like in if you go to Jagannath Puri kitchen, they
Hmm.
cut vegetable using a panki. It's like you chop like this, sitting.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Very good. That's a very good standard because you use both hands. Like if I chop in the knife all the time,
Hmm.
you develop. I have tennis elbow because of chopping and
Hmm.
because of studying. And this shoulder and this thing gets pain because of chopping like this all the time.
Hmm.
But if you
Hmm.
chop like this thing, your
Hmm.
hands are moving very regulated, and there is a lot of you can do a lot of work. But
Hmm.
anyway, we have left tradition a lot behind now. There are chopping machines also. Then you know none of your muscles are used much. Anyway, I got diverted very quickly. But my point is, I used to chop as a child vegetables, and all the neighboring lady would gather around me and watch me with amazement. This small kid house chopping so fast. It's like some kids are in a play modang, they're kirtanias from the beginning, right? They
Hmm.
pick up
Hmm.
one playing. So I was cutting vegetables. I didn't know what it was. And sometimes in the early morning, like this time hour, like it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, when nobody's in the kitchen, I would go and study in the kitchen. And I found that place was very soothing for me, very quiet, calm, and I feel at home. And once I really like all of us in the Brahmacharya ashram, we went out to some retreat for 7 8 days. And when we returned back, we all came back. So I was walking around. I said, I was away for so many days from here. I don't feel like home when I come back. I should feel like home. I was feeling bad, but I didn't feel like home. And I was just thinking like that. I kept walking here and there, and I entered the kitchen, upper temple kitchen. As soon as I entered the kitchen, I felt at home. so, so this cooking thing are so strong in me. Some samskar is there from where I don't know. So in IIT also I used to cook. In the base I used to cook when I came to ashram. So there was a devotee kitchen. And our brahmacharis, they go through panchakarma and all those things. It was happened since a long time. It's not new to us, Ayurvedic treatment and all. They want to have a perfect ideal health, which is so challenging in this world. What Krishna says in Gita. Uh,
Yuktahar.
no. That is regulated, but he says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukha
Dukha
Doshanu
doshana
Darshan.
darshana.
Right? Janma Mrityu, these are sure.
Hmm.
But two more things, Jara and Vyadhi also sure. That people don't accept. But Vyadhi is 100%. There is nobody who can stay without sickness in this world. So we cannot have ideal health, but we can regulate and try to streamline. That's my lifestyle. When I coach people, I tell them, you
Correct.
cannot have a 100% good health. It's not possible. The whole world is full of so many oppositions, so many bacteria. Coronavirus has created such a big problem. So my point is, when I came ashram, there are some devotees who is doing this Ayurveda
Everything.
thing. And the people who are running the kitchen, they had a tough time with these sick people because they had a small stove to cook their khichdi or things like that. They would keep it on clean and leave. And so they had a problem. So Gaurang Prabhu told me, why don't you cook for the sick people?
Hmm.
That's how my journey in cooking in ashram started. I started serving the sick devotees. They were happy because they're getting good, their diet. Nityan Prabhu was one of them. He remembers this always. And the person who was in charge of kitchen, he was happy because I took care of that small area, were clean and everything. So they were happy. In that way, I started serving the sick devotees, got their blessings, and went ahead there, step by step.
One thing I really appreciate is, generally when someone joins the monk, everyone wants to become like a preacher, but no one really wants to take up that cooking service. It's really a difficult one, a thankless job, But the beauty is you have taken that service consistently for so many years, and you have actually helped in bringing excellence in that field. So the point that there is no service that's high or low, every service is important, and every service, if done nicely, can actually give great pleasure to the devotees, and you can make great advancement.
That's a great point, actually. Uh, Before me, the devotees who were there in the kitchen, they would manage it with hired cooks. And before that, Gaurang Prabhu, Sanat Kumar Prabhu, all devotees were cooking, actually. But it was difficult to satisfy because so many people from North India, South India, like North Indian devotees, or ashram devotees said, "You are saying South Indian feast? How can South Indian item be feast?" No, they call it like it's not falling in together so well. Anyway, so to satisfy people from different families, different, even in same community, different families have different tastes. Some would take little khatta, somebody would eat little sour, and somebody's a little hot. So many different. That's called Satmiya in Ayurveda. That the food that we eat while growing up, that food builds our body or becomes me. Like I ate anna, anna becomes me.
Correct.
Okay, that's sacrifice. The cycle of sacrifice begins there. The anna is sacrificing its life to nourish me. By nourishing me, it becomes me. So they also evolve in one sense. Anyway, that's a detailed thing. But my point is, I got lost again. Where I was.
You were explaining how it's difficult to satisfy everyone.
Exactly. Satmiya. Sa atmiya. In sa, that anna becomes me, atma. Okay. So if you grow up eating certain food lifestyle, then you cannot change another food. If I can eat a dosa or idli once in a while, being a North Indian, for example. I'm not North Indian, I'm from East. But then I cannot eat it every day. Every day I eat my roti and sabji.
Correct.
Okay, that's called Satmi. So if you force them to eat rice 3 times a day, they will have difficulty. Health-wise, they will have difficulty. So that was the problem that was going through. Nobody was able to recognize it. They try to work hard, making roti and sabji and all this. Devotees are not happy, so they gave up the hired cooks. Param said, I will better preach. So he had cooks. He went out preaching. Then again, it was not in control because paid cooks are nice. I don't blame any of them. But because the intention is to make money, so that consciousness does seep into the food. Like when your mother cooks for you, she never thinks about money, right?
Very true.
And that consciousness is very superior consciousness than eating from. So those families who have big monies and who had cooks that are home and they don't cook, it is not a good idea. And the satisfaction will not be there in the family. And I have seen such places. I mean, I don't want to go to the it's fulfill heart and bad. But if you see, you're sitting behind Yashoda and Krishna. Such a nice photo. This is one of my favorite photos. How nicely Krishna is happy, Yashoda is so happy. They're together. Yashoda had thousands of servants. But when it comes to churn butter for Krishna, cook for Krishna, she used to cook. She only gave to Radharani because he is the best. Because he was blessed by Durva Sabni, right? It was. So that's how the shifting was done in Nandagram. That place Pavan Sarwar Radharani used to cook. 30, 40, 50, I don't know how many stoves she used to cook there. And every day new item, no dish was repeated. Oh, that is like wonderful. So that is Radharani. But the point is, if you go to temple, the priest, the brahmanas, they cook. Others assist, but the brahmanas cook. But he thinks, because the food not only nourishes our body, it nourishes our mind. It nourishes our existence, our subtle body, gross body. Everything is nourished by anna. It's not that we eat for physical strength. No, that is one part only, the small part. The bigger part is mind. Because mind, mind is happy, then everything else is happy. Even if food is not so good, I mean, not so fancy. So I would not say not good. Good food, but not fancy. We don't mind it. But if food is fancy, but mind is not content and happy, you cannot enjoy anything. I mean, you cannot release anything. You cannot feel happiness. Satisfaction, happiness will not come. So that was happening. And then many foreign disciple devotees came, their Sattvik is completely different, Proper disciples were from America and Europe, other places they used to come. They said, they told Maharaj that your temple is great, amazing, hospitality is out of the world. I mean, we never felt so happy. They kept coming back because of that hospitality. Okay. But we cannot continue coming here because the food is not good. Food is not. And at that point, Maharaj said, okay, tell Radhavallabha to cook. Going to Gorango both told me you should start cooking in the kitchen, and that's where I entered. And why I'm saying this, if the cooks are very important, very important. So even during the people earlier time, if somebody would ask anybody to come and cook at their home, it would be Brahmanas.
Correct.
Right? Even if they're not from lower caste, still when the cooking is given, they would request Brahmanas to come and cook. Suppose there is somebody dies, there is 10 days we don't cook. So Brahmanas come, they cook, serve the deity, and they go away. Some dakshina we give. So that is the system. Like even in South India, there is IR catering. What is IR catering? Brahmins. But they're doing a business now. It is not a Brahminical cooking. So therefore, when I also try to plan this yogi plate and everything, I want to keep the Brahminical principles intact in me while doing a catering or business. That's very challenging. Definitely, it's challenging. But we try to keep money and the spirit of cooking separate. Somebody else handles the money part, and I handle the cooking part so that it nourishes people well. So that kind of concept we're visualizing, we're dreaming to do it. So yes, so the consciousness of the person who's cooking is very important. So yeah, so fortunately I had a flair for cooking. I won't say that I was like in that spirit of understanding of the, but later I understood why it was successful. Because first of all, the skill is there. Skill is important in cooking, of course, skill is important. But apart from skill, because that mood was to serve the devotees and to make them happy. So a lot of experimentations. That time I didn't know what is Sattvik. I knew it much later. But I was trying to help South Indian devotees. So I used to keep North Indian meals, South Indian meals, relatively shuffle the menu here and there. Even the brahmacharis don't know I'm speaking today. They don't know this thing, what I all try to do to make each of them happy. And yeah, so they don't know the struggle. But they were happy at the end of the day. And there's a lot of blessings I got because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a difficult task, but you earn a lot of blessings.
Definitely, yeah. I'm grateful for those things, yes.
Yeah, I have seen you all cook during the yatras and all. It's so difficult doing those massive cookings. You were explaining how your hands started to pain and all that. It's quite a difficult thing. My hats off to all your years of service.
Hands, legs also stand for hours and hours, like morning
Exactly.
4 to afternoon 2, constantly, But, because of our Guru Maharaj, Ramaswamy Maharaj, his inspiration, it was all pleasure. It was never a pain. It was never a pain was there, but heart was relishing. It was always a pleasure. So, it was excitement to plan, to get up and to go to the kitchen and look after things and everything happening, testing and properly, and then serving out to devotees. Then immediately plan for the next day, because I would not stay there for serving. People I have not interacted with the people I served.
Correct.
I cooked and I left. So there is a separate team for serving, because I feel serving is equally important.
Correct.
Is 50% is cooking, 50% is serving. I would say more than serving, because if food may be very nice, but if it is not served with love, then nobody cares for it. Nobody cares for it.
Correct.
So that is very important. Service is very supremely important. How we serve the food, how we care them, how we affectionately want to eat. Like they say, don't count the rotis here. No, I had 4, I cannot have more. Sometimes we go to devotees home while eating. They say, they serve more. I say, Mataji, it's 4 ho gaya, aur nahi kha sakta hai. And nobody counts how many rotis you eat. You just keep eating. So that's how it is. Uh, I'm sorry, I think my power is removed, but it's still 20%, no problem. It'll go long. Yeah. So that's the thing. Serving is very important, how we serve Radha. But in Yatra, I would not be there. I would just move out because next day I have to plan for the next day. And chant my purely many grounds like that.
I've seen y'all how organized the entire kitchen team is. You'll have like the menus is decided. Who's going to do what. In fact, I think every menu of yours is standardized, na? How much you have put each
now
item.
It can go on without me also. So that's I'm not worried that I'm not there how things will happen in Yatra kitchen because it's all programmed into Excel sheets, and there are other cooks who I've trained. Gorakhpur himself is
Correct.
a major part. But all organization and basically the manpower. Who's going to do what? That's something requires a lot of talent, which is not cooking.
Correct.
So Prabhu has that leadership. So he gathered the right team,
Correct.
Who will be the business team, who will be the cooking team, who will be the infrastructure team. And he's excellent organizer. So as a result, what happens? Then I was able to express my art, my cooking skills or whatever it was that Krishna has allowed me. So otherwise, without that fabric, the structure, we cannot express. Canvas nahi hai to paint kis pe karega? So that whole easel, the canvas and the equipment, that all instruments are required, and that was organized so well by Prabhuji and Maharaj's blessing, and all the magic happened. We cooked for almost 7,000-8,000 people, sometimes in Kumbh 14,000 people a day. And Venudari Prabhu did all those pulley and railway track things.
Correct. Yeah.
Amazing. That's why Nasil Jogati got attracted.
Correct.
Take the pulley, not the food.
Correct. So I think you traveled around the world also, na? Learning cooking from different. Can you tell something about that experience of yours?
Okay. How much time we have, Prabhu? Because I can go forever. It's like
you can go on forever, no issue.
Okay, so once our Radha Swami Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj, he came from America and he bought a whole kit of making pizza. So then he was excited. So he called Govind Prabhu, and then he called me also. So we are all sitting there, and he was showing all the things out of his bag, like a dough doser. Dough doser means, the bread doser. That means you roll the bread, then you make pokes in it, because pizza doesn't pop off, it stays flat, right?
Correct.
To keep it flat, you make holes in it. So he was showing those instruments, saw-like things. And then he said, when Brahmacharya ego becomes inflated, we have to poke and make it flat. Rudananda Goswami Maharaj says, what about pizza? Somebody asked him, because he's more Americanized Swami. But pizza is a self-realized chapati. It's because it is flat, self-realized, no ego. Anyway, so Maharaj also telling us those things, and he was excited. But then we had been eating pizza in Mumbai from different devotees. They would bring and say, this is pizza, I ate it. With bread, sauce, and tomato ketchup and cheese. Not even mozzarella cheese, some cheddar cheese. Some dhania patta and mirchi, whatever, Indianized type of things. Ketchup and bread from the market. Anyway, I also had some of those, but I never got attracted to that food. So then Gorakhpur said, Maharaj, pizza already you are having, so why all these things? I said, those are not pizzas. So then he had brought a whole recipe. Actually, he went to Kosto Prabhu's home here in New York, US. Kosto Prabhu has learned it from Gunagrahi Swami, who was recently left in Vrindavan. So this is coming, the pizza that I teach coming in Parampara, Gunagrahi Swami. And that pizza, our Guru Maharaj, Swami Maharaj, he liked it very much. That thin crust, flat pizzas. baked on stones. So he wanted to bring that to India. Our Govinda was about to start, 2004 or 5 I'm speaking about. Then Kaustav Prabhu came to India on his annual trip and he came to Bombay. He said, we need a stone. Then we want to market. Shyamananda Prabhu helped me a lot actually. He inspired and helped me a lot. He used to come with to me market. We designed an oven because usually the oven that available in India is like 250 degrees Celsius max, 225 actually, 250 bhi nahi hai. And small size, a lot of heat leaks while you bake because of the, the thing is not very tight. The gate, what do you call it? The
lid,
door.
the lid.
The door, yeah, the door, pizza door, oven door.
Correct.
Is not very tight and small thin glass. So that's not the kind of oven where you can bake pizza. You need a very tight and hot because it doesn't cook quickly. And the cheese has to melt. It requires more heat. So minimum 300 degrees Celsius you need. So because of our IIT background, always comes to help. We do all these, small mini projects. So I went to the market to Lohar Chawal in Mumbai. And Shamana Prabhu came with me. So we said, okay, we want to design an oven like this. With all solid steel structure, with a steel door, double glass door. And temperature should go to 300, more than 300. And that guy did it for us. And that's why the pizza started coming a little good. But then he was speaking about stone. Whatever stone we brought, it was all cracking down. Because the stones are not made for high temperature cooking. Then I went to Vrindavan. His Holiness Rasamat Swami Maharaj was president that time. There in Vrindavan, that Mayapur Vrindavan MPT, that building, they have a restaurant and they have a pizzeria, which is a brick oven with stone on the floor. So I went there, did some experiments. His Holiness Rasamat Maharaj used to come and taste. And he was happy. And I was happy because he is a very traditional person. And he just ate rice dal, roti, bhakri. But he used to come just to inspire me. He used to come and taste and he used to give very good feedback. Also, it was all fresh, fresh tomatoes and everything was well made. He used to appreciate. And that's how the project got lifted. Then Maharaj said, you should go to New York and see how Kaustav is cooking. Direct experience. He believed that strongly. But then American visa and all couldn't happen. So I landed up in Italy instead of US, the birthplace of pizza. And there I visited many pizzerias. There, of course, they're using meat. I could not taste anything. I would just watch around and see how they're making the dough, the fire, the stove, the oven, everything. I was making notes also. Then I came to a devotee's family. They said, we have a garden pizzeria, like wood fire oven. And they said, why don't you come and we cook pizza that which you can taste and understand what it is. I said, of course. And you believe it or not, that was my birthday.
Oh.
Birthday in Italy, in a very remote village setup, beautiful place, and mountains and greeneries and everything. And in the garden, it was a nice, it was like winter just beginning, not very hot, not very cold climate. And in the garden, they roll out all these pizzas, so nice. Such an experience. And I was thanking Krishna how I didn't tell them it was my birthday. I didn't tell them because I was brahmachari, so I'm not. And then all this glorification starts and it spoils the whole mood. I just thanked Krishna in my heart. Well, my birthday and you have arranged nice pizza and nice to have these nice drinks. वेस्ट में लोग खाने पीने वाले लोग हैं खाने पीने वाले उनके ड्रिंक्स बहुत सारा रहता है of course they drink a lot of alcohol beverages but for devotees family they have different drinks which would go with the salad and the pizza. Very nice. Anyway, so I came back to India and I made a whole, that time internet already started, Google was already there. I did a research and I said for Govindas I proposed a whole pizza oven which is whole stone made, and I checked all the prices from US, from Italy, and came out with a good price for a good oven. And I presented to temple authorities. Maharaj was not there. Maharaj was in US that time. And it was costing around 4.5 lakhs to touch our place, to India. Then to shift it and all the extra cost is there. It was 2-ton oven, all stone, gas fired. So naturally, no brahmachari authority will take such a responsibility, right? 4.5 lakh rupees, and this guy is dreaming, things like that. Then I can, Golampu put me across the Krishna Chandra Prabhu. And I presented the whole thing. And he he was happy to see that whole report. This thick file I made, explaining him everything. And he approved it. And once he approved it, the woman came. And believe it or not, within 6 or 8 months, we recovered the money that is invested in the oven, because we are going really good. Business were coming out so good. Till today, after 15 years, that oven is still active. Doing a wonderful job. Anyway, so this is how one experience of traveling to, landed up in Italy instead of US. And that, our pizzeria and Govinda's became very successful because of the travel. And I thank all the devotees who supported. Some of the devotees, booked my tickets from UK to Italy. I went via France because my Gaur Krishna Prabhu, who left, unfortunately, he helped me to get my visa cleared, scans and visa cleared from the embassy. He trained me how to go, what to speak, what not to speak, and things like that. So all those people are behind this thing. And of course, Gorakhpur took me to UK. Then he went to US. From there, he left me there. Then I had to alone. First time I flew in flight, by the way. The first flight I take in my life was from Bombay to London. First flight.
Oh.
Straight. It's a huge flight. And then the international flights are big. It's the experience. Then I went to France and saw Radhavallabha's Paris Sword, then went to Italy, then I did all these things. Then I came back, yeah. So that is one part. In UK, I learned from Mother Kolangana how to make this sandesh that's used to make beautiful sandesh stuffed with burfi. Those are the best sandesh ever I seen anywhere. And Maharaj used to say these sandesh are looking so beautiful, attractive, should be kept in museum instead of eating. You should come and see this sandesh. She used to be a proper disciple. And she taught me how to make this sandesh and different burfis also, which is still done in, I hope still it is done, Navagopnath temple. Still I was there, it was, I trained other brahmacharis they are doing. So one good thing I feel very satisfied is I kept giving to those who wanted to come. People took interest after I started kitchen. Many brahmacharis took interest to come kitchen and cook. That is another shift. And I kept training. Everybody inspired them. And in my absence now also, things are happening. I pray to Krishna, give me some percentage of brokerage. They are doing, but I should get my percentage of my services, if it is allowed. Okay, but yeah, I'm happy that Radha Gopinath is getting their sweets and devotees are getting their prashadam and things like that. This is a lot of satisfaction.
So you have also been the cook for Maharaj you've been cooking for Maharaj for the last 17 years. So what was your experience cooking for Maharaj?
Yeah, that's a whole different story altogether. Again, I was treating the sick devotees, cooking food for sick devotees. Then our Govind Prabhu had some health issues, and doctor told them to stay in one place for 2 months continuously, and eat a proper diet. So then Gaurav told me, I wanted to go and cook for him. I said, no, of course, why not? It's a great pleasure. So I was serving him 2 months and cooking every day, 3 times for Prabhu. And that helped him a lot in his health. So this is where I believe that Sattvik, cooked food, which is balanced with spices and everything, can bring a positive change in health. So I did that, but I didn't thought that this will lead to service to Maharaj. Because Maharaj was eating so many different hands, his health was not keeping good.
Correct.
Maharaj said, we have so many brahmacharis, why can't one brahmachari cook for me? I mean, he was not asking anything in his life. Like, I was cooking for him so many years. He never, not even once, he told me, can you cook this for me? Not even once. I mean, that's like real self-control person, Like if somebody is cooking for me, I have a tendency to tell him, okay, today I will take, aloo bhendi Tomorrow I will take some eggplants with paneer. Like you keep telling your mind what you want to eat. Never he said anything to that. But anyway, he said, why can't brahmacharis cook for me? I'm guru, I'm father. I have so many kids and nobody is there to cook for me. So they got a little disturbed. So going through used to cook for on and off. But again, because of his service as a president, and things were not happening so smoothly. And Stok Krishna Prabhu was there. He tried to cook for Maharaj. And Sikshastakam Prabhu came as servant. That is the time when Govind Prabhu said, why not, he's cooked for me 2 months. It was good. Why not he cooks for us? That's how I got the service to Maharaj. And the small little kitchen behind the devotee kitchen where I set up my stove, it was like my temple, my altar there. And I used to cook there and keep it very clean, nice, and cook for Maharaj some khichdi and sabji. First time I cooked, Maharaj took it, and I was standing in the doorway to see what is the reaction Maharaj, whether he's happy or not, he's eating. Then he came up to me, he just said like this, and I was so happy. He didn't say a word. As if I don't know English or he doesn't know. He thought maybe, he knows me and he knew me by that time. Then he settled everything. So it was like the expression without a word. So that was such a touching thing. Then I kept cooking. I never looked back. In the initial days, I used to go myself, buy the vegetables and choose the grains, because there are so many types of rice, so many types of dal. So those ingredients choice I used to make, and that helped me a lot for devotee kitchen. Because devotee kitchen also ingredients are very important. Without good ingredients, you cannot cook good food. अगर foundation नहीं है तो building कैसे बनेगा? So I used to go myself and choose the ingredients, fill the ingredients. This eggplant will give a nice taste. This won't. So those are this spice. There are so many types of cinnamon sticks. These cinnamon sticks are cheap. They're not going to give any flavor. This will give. So those choices, especially because I'm making for Maharaj, there's so much attention I have to give out spontaneously. It does not have to push myself. So those experiences helped me a lot to choose the ingredient. Then Tulsi Priya Prabhu came as a, store himself. So we talk, we have meetings. Ye ingredient theek hai, ye nahi hai. We'll apply, we'll go for this. Of course, he had to look after the cost. I didn't care about the cost. And cook should not, Brahmana should not worry about these things. It is the managers, they have to worry. Without worrying the cooks, then things will happen nicely. And of course, I was understanding this. This is too expensive. Okay, we cannot go for this. But then what is the best? The economic thing, but best in that category. That helped me to also improve the food quality of devotees living in the ashram. And I think sometimes chawal bach gaya to sabay tadka mar ke kha lo. That was another problem, which is like not good because it's tamasic more or less. Sattvik food, Gopal says, we eat it within 3 hours, right? 3 hours, not more. ISO, which we did, our temple is just told that we have ISO temple. This is 4 hours is fine. Because after 4 hours, the bacteria are destroying the food. They create toxins. And the toxins will affect our health. So the point is, leftover food cooked again is not good. Ayurveda completely rejects it. Once in a while is fine. But then, because ashram cooking is so big, there is always likely that something will stay back, remain back, So what we did is we kind of did all those Excel sheets, is a lot of help because there was very minimum leftover or no leftover, maybe half a bucket, 1 bucket, which can be easily given out in food for life, So anyway, so the point is cooking for Maharaj, that cook in me was awakened. I was awakened. I knew I had attraction for kitchen. I was cook here and there and things like that. But that person in me, that talent in me, it got a whole life in it. just by lightning touch karke. Something like that. That is Guru Maharaj's real blessings. His appreciation made me what I am. I mean, everything from that point, everything happened on the pizza or Italian different dishes. So many things he taught us. I mean, inspired me to learn. So yeah, then it was all pleasure to cook for Maharaj every time, and I used to get Mahaprasad practically every day. Out of the eats. Later, I would take some. Yeah.
Maharaj mentions this that attention to details is sign of love. In all your discussion, I've been seeing that you've been very attentive to small details, whether
Yeah,
it is whether it is cooking for Maharaj or for the brahmacharis.
Yeah, whatever service we take, we should do it. With
yeah.
That's for a pujaari is also in the dress. They give a lot of attention. And managers when they perform, they see that everything is in place, all the sequence, things are happening. Event organizers,
Correct.
Everything is there, camera is there, everything, light is not there. So how can you shoot? You can't shoot. So detail is required in every field, everywhere.
You being with Maharaj for so many years, cooking for Maharaj, I'm sure you might have had a lot of interactions with him. You might have learned a lot of things by being close to him. Would you like to share something?
Yeah, actually, my job, my seva would end in the kitchen. Okay. And after kitchen, the servants would go and serve Maharaj. So my direct interaction was practically not there. And Maharaj would not say what he wants to eat. He would just come from US or UK. He would come back and say, for next 2 weeks only khichdi. So that's all he would say. So rest is our job. And you say, I don't have time to think what I'm going to eat. And the thing he would say. So we would not dare to ask him also. So as a result, my interactions was not much. So I'm going to say, you should ask, you should talk to him. What he wants, what he doesn't want, you should talk. And generally, I'm also a little shy in nature. So naturally, I was not going so much. So one time he came back. He used to relish soup in the evening a lot. I mean, I used to make minestrone and other pumpkin soup and different soups. Broth, Russian soups. And dinner, I would always try to make it fancy so that he feels an appetite to eat and release. But after coming back from US in one time, he said he was not taking soup at all. 2-3 soups would leave it aside. So I'm a little concerned. If he's not eating, what I should make? Then I asked him, Maharaj, you're not taking soup, is it? What do you think? The only answer he gave, I'm no more into soups. I'm no more into soups. That's all. What else you want to do? No, nothing like that. So we had to keep a lot of praying that let these things be good for Maharaj so that he can eat and happy. So interaction was not so much. But there was an inner interaction in the sense, this will make Maharaj happy. And it used to be. If I make palak this style, you'll listen, he would. If I make this potato sabji this style, potato is not much allowed by the again, Ayurvedic knowledge came because of Maharaj also. Because all these Ayurvedic doctors, they would come and tell me, you can't do this, you can't do that. Initially, I was resisting, like change you resist. In the beginning, I said. So what is this? No potato, what is this? No tomato, what is this? So we would be like a lot of disagreement with the doctors, but gradually I learned that whatever they say is a lot of sense. So earlier the kings used to have 2 or 3 personal advisors, like a astrologer and an Ayurvedic doctor. 2 persons he meets every day morning, first thing. Kaska din kaisa rahega? Stressful hai? Is it stressful? It's going to be smooth. And the doctor, and depending on the temperatures and his, there is also a situation, Kapha Pitta is balanced or not balanced, then he will tell the cooks, today food should not have more vata. Because king didn't sleep last night, his vata is more, he cannot eat vata food today. But today is cold climate, he's relaxed night, and he's in good shape, okay, cook some chole paneer. He can digest. So things like that, they would advise, and that advice is so important to know that what is my nature, what is the food's nature, what is the status I am, what is the time, what is the season, and what should be eating, what should not be eating. This is very important to know. So those days, the doctors used to help the kings, and like big swamis were always assisted by such people. And I was fortunate to again have many doctors like Nitin Garude Prabhu. He is one of the best doctor in Mumbai area, and many others. They used to advise me, and and that's how I got learned to know. And from that knowledge, and by repeatedly serving Maharaj, we got sometimes you repeatedly serve people, if he's eating this, good. Not eating this, nahi banane ka. So like that. So that then Maharaj helped there. Now once he came back from UK after his surgery, there was some surgery on his ear, and he came back. Then doctor told him that you need to focus on your diet to nourish. So we are in Mayapur and GBC meeting. Normally GBC meeting, so many devotees would invite Maharaj, like Pichara Swami Maharaj, so many other Swamis and proper disciples or Grihasthas they would invite. So we would go here and there, eat many places. Although I would be available there to cook for him. In some 15 days, maybe I will be cooking 2 or 3 days. That's all. All other days he's going here and there. Sometimes we would cook and wait for him. He would come. I've already had my lunch. You guys eat it. Anyway, I was never attracted to eat what I cook for Maharaj because it was for Maharaj, so I can't eat that. So I used to eat in the Brahmacharya ashram mostly. Other devotees, they eat. But Maharaj doesn't eat, they eat it. They finish it off. So what happened in Mayapur that year after his surgery, Maharaj was advised not to eat. So I had the full scope to cook for him every day. So I used to go to Baban Pukur, that's where Chandkaji Samadhi is there. Behind that there is a fresh market every day set up, vegetable market. I used to go buy fresh vegetables. Navadip, Ganges, Ganga is there. The field is so fertile, so many beautiful, tasty vegetables used to come. And the grains. So I used to cook every day Maharaj's Bengali feast. But according to his diet and all, he used to eat every day. And on the 10th day, the doctor who accompanied, he told me, Prabhu, Maharaj's weight has gained. His weight has increased. So I was so happy to hear that I finally, it helped nourish his body. One of my friend, Nityananda Prabhu, was like, Sri Vaishnav, from Sri Vaishnav families, and it's Brahmachari, very nice devotee, one of my best friend. He used to tell that how you repay the Guru's mercy on you, the only thing you can do is serve his body, Vapu. No way we can serve it. We assist him in his preaching and other things. Yeah, of course it is true. But when giving back to him, that is the only way seva to his body. And like parents, they give birth to a child. How the child is going to repay that debt? You cannot give your parents' birth back. So, that's not possible. It's already done. So Guru has delivered you. So what you can do? Can you deliver your Guru? No, that's something very odd, awkward. So only way he was telling me, only way you can give is serve. It's lotus feet and serve his body. And you have got that service. I'm very grateful for those things, for all those years. Yeah. And Maharaj was very kind to me. He never chastised me, for example. There were mistakes, but like once we gave tofu to him on Ekadasi. Tofu comes in a white form like a paneer. So we didn't realize. But Maharaj cannot eat paneer. The doctor said, no paneer. So I said, okay, we'll give him tofu. And we served tofu. Maharaj ate it. He didn't realize it. Then I realized, humne to beans khila diya Maharaj ko. Tofu is basically beans, right? So then I told Govind Prabhu that I have done this mistake. What should I do? He said, you should go and ask forgiveness. Don't delay. So the evening after dinner, I met briefly Maharaj. while standing only, I said, Maharaj, I'm sorry, I broke your Ekadasi today. Extremely sorry. So Maharaj looked at me, he became a little grave. He said, you broke my Ekadasi? You broke my Ekadasi. I said, I'm sorry, Maharaj. Then he said, okay, don't do it anymore. Don't do it further. That's all. So he never chastised, and he was loving and caring. So those are the interactions and service to Maharaj.
Great.
Yeah.
So can you tell us something about Yogi Plate? How did it start and what's the idea behind it?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. Yeah. See, in the kitchen, Yatra kitchen and all, we had to train a lot of devotees to cook the kind of food that we're cooking, organized and all. And we saw the volume of food that is being distributed, like thousands of plates every day. And thanks to Gaurang Prabhu, because organizing those things, and it's happening. So I thought, why not take this idea and, because I have seen some guests would come to our temple, they would have the pizza, they would appreciate it so much. Maharaj would call me to his room, some guests, rich people. And Maharaj said, Maharaj would tell them, you tell him, because they were appreciating the pizza. Maharaj is so kind. They can see, he would personally call me to his room. I would stand there and they would say, we have been to so many big hotels in this country whenever we visit, five-star places and all. We never had pizza like this, they would say. And that would make me think, And like we made Thai curry in Jagannath Puri Yatra, Maharaj Yatra in Jagannath Puri, Kartik Yatra. That was my last Yatra before I changed my ashram. I'm from Puri, so again, Jagannath is so merciful. I always thought Maharaj taking us to Vrindavan, to Mayapur, to Sri Rangam, to Kanyakumari, so many far out places, and Rajasthan, other places I was taking. But he never comes to Jagannath Puri and Kartik. I'm from that place, Maharaj introduced me to all his God brothers. He's Radha Vallabha, he's from Jagannath Puri. Then I told Maharaj once, I'm not from Puri Maharaj, I'm from Bhubaneswar. I was feeling a little uncomfortable because I don't want to be, I don't have four hands, all those things. I'm a fallen person from Bhubaneswar, not from Puri. So I told Maharaj once that I'm not from Puri Maharaj. Maharaj smiled, he didn't say anything. He said, oh, we're from Bhubaneswar. The next time he introduced me again, he said, I'm from Jagannath Puri. And I didn't say anything. Okay. Maybe he's seeing the four hands. I didn't argue on that anymore. I let it go. So I was thinking he never came to Puri. So Krishna's arrangement, before I decided to change, the last yatra was to Jagannath Puri. And we met Thai curry there. And Keshav Prabhu, Shinaji Prabhu's son, I left some years back, few years back. He used to also love my food, Shinaji Prabhu, very much. He would personally text me for certain items that I would cook. And after 3 days, also keep it in the fridge and eat it. 3 days later, they again call me. Arey, मैं 3 दिन के बाद खा रहा हूँ, बहुत अच्छा है. So he was very kind to me also, Chinaji Prabhu. Anyway, so Keshav Prabhu told that I have been to so many places all over the world, but this curry is the ultimate. So then I thought, if people from outside ISKCON circle are able to appreciate it, then why restrict it within ISKCON also? Let it go out. So that's how I thought about this Yogi Plate concept, where it is not directly Hare Krishna in the sense people should not feel it's like a religious cult or something like that. So I made it the name Yogi Plate. And my idea is to basically reach out to everyone. Why deprive people something is good? Let it go out in mass, right? So my dream is to basically, this passion is there in me that everybody should have access to this food. Everybody in the world, everybody. Not just India or Bombay or Govindas who come to Govindas to get to eat pizzas. Everywhere this international cuisine which can be Sattvik. In Thai curry, and you step out of India border, there is no concept of vegetarianism. Now it is because of veganism and all, people are taking a lot of interest. There are vegetarians, like Einstein was vegetarians, like philosopher, thinkers, they were, many of them were, because they have knowledge and they have understanding, compassion in their heart. They don't go for cold country. I'm sorry about that again. In cold countries, meat and wine is very natural. Desert, nothing grows there. But thanks to Srila Prabhupada, is amazing. Actually, I must say this. He actually created the revolutions, which I want to be part of. I want to continue that, that passion, that dream Prabhupada. He made everybody's kitchen an altar. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? In India, like people, like the village that my mother comes from, I used to go there. I've met twice, but I've seen that kitchens are altered. They use every day cow dung. They will clean it with cow dung and let every day dry on a thing. And no garlic. Meat cannot enter the home. What to speak of? Kitchen is altered. You cannot bring blood, bones. These are all contaminated things. You cannot bring to kitchen. It's such a nasty thing. Those who are spiritual, they can easily understand. You cannot kill animals and bring the carcass to the home. This is such a sad thing, but it was happening full-fledged. Everybody is ignorant about it, including people who shifted from that village to cities. Kitchen mein sab aa gaye. Later in India, people started drinking at home. But alcohol was not there at home at all. Who would dare to drink alcohol in the home? Now it is also happening. So these are all kind of, ignorance, I would say. I don't want to blame anybody for this. But because we moved away from our culture, our spiritual culture, which is India is known for, because we moved away, so all this contaminations enters. But then when I started cooking in temple, I could see that you take any cuisine and you can make it better by making it Sattvik. And I have experience, because people who eat all kind of food all over, they say this pizza is the best. One Indian ambassador, Indian ambassador's diplomat, country diplomat, basically IFS officers, Indian Foreign Service, his wife, she regularly visits our Govindas in Mumbai. And she is from Odisha. Some part of her life was in Odisha. So the PR people, devotees Hare Krishna Prabhu, he thought if she meets me, it will be like more connection with temple and she feel at home, comfortable. Just to do that, he said, why don't you come to, meet her? It was again in Govindas. I met her there. And she said, these pizzas were amazing. They smell the stuffed pizzas. She said, one of my friend came with us. He wanted to meet us. So we were having lunch here. So he came to meet us here. But he's a hardcore non-vegetarian. And he cannot put anything in his mouth if it is not non-veg. That's the kind of person he is. He said, you guys, you like, I don't care. I have no attraction for these things. But we'll have our chat. I can drink something a little bit. But I'll not eat. Then comes deliberately orders this stuffed pizza. It comes. Then he could not resist. He said, can I have one slice or something like that? He took just one bite. She's telling me. She took one bite and he calls it, the waiter, please come, bring one more of this. Instantly she ordered that pizza. So then I was thinking, by making it Sattvik, people think Sattvik food is bland. Hospital food or sick man food. Then another experience I will tell a little later if I have time. But it's not like that. Actually, Sattvik food is made for the gods. Like everybody home in Hindu families, on Ganesh Chaturthi or other days, they cook food for the Lord, right? It's all Sattvik food, right? And those food are good. They're tasty. They're flavorsome. So what happens? All these tamasic ingredients like, onion, garlic. Tamas means darkness. Darkness means covering. Okay. So what they do, they suppress all of the taste and stand out very prominently. Onion, garlic, wherever they go, they they kick out all other tests. Okay, you get lost. And I am here the boss. And people test that, they feel this is the test. But poor people, they don't understand that losing the taste of cinnamon, taste of saffron, taste of, cardamom, so many other beautiful cumin, the tastes are there, but they're covered. They're not able to manifest themselves completely because of this suppressing power. Like Kostubu used to tell me, concert. In a concert, you should be able to hear all the instruments. Some tiny ting, ting, that also you should be able to hear. Then the experience is very high, rich. But if the vocal is singing very loud and you cannot hear any of the music, people is playing mridanga, for example, in Kirtan, if they play very loud and you cannot even hear the vocals or other people, then that's not music, that's not concert, that's not a good experience. Similarly, food, if you give a prominence to everything that is common in the food, every ingredient, whether it is eggplant or there is spice, even water. If that thing we can bring in the food, then that's called pure experience. That purity comes in Sattvik food. This is how I would describe it. People do not know this, unfortunately. I don't bring it to the world. Sometimes say, if you want to make it, don't speak about Sattvik food. Just keep good food. Let them eat in ignorance. No. But I said, no. We should give the credit to the thing or a word or a concept of knowledge that it deserves. If it is Bhagavad Gita, it is Bhagavad Gita. Don't say something else, right? Similarly, Sattvik food, we'll speak it is Sattvik food. This is what it is. And this is what it is. You experience it. And that's the Yoga Plate idea, is to bring this culture of food. Of course, we'll offer that part. We will not tell people. You can edit it if you like. But yeah, so yeah, that's the thing we have to look into. That's the dream. That's the goal. Stretch it out. What's was started, the kitchens become altars. So give the food to people and maybe it will help them to cook. Then my idea is to not only give food, but also education, where we train people, we train families, train mothers to cook at home. Pregnant ladies, they don't know sometimes in the modern day, they don't know what to eat, what to cook. So that kind of education I want to give. But maybe that will come a little later. But that's the goal. Then you eat, you appreciate, you cook at home. You cook at home the same, very same food. And gradually we tell them about offering system also. Also sacrifice, cycle of sacrifice. Because we can't live without killing, unfortunately. The vegetable, people are eating animals, that is one thing, but vegetables also have life. Grains have life. Every grain is a potential plant. So therefore, eating grains is more sinful than eating vegetables, because seeds can always be given. Fruits are even better. The seeds goes back to the nature. We're not killing. That's described in the scriptures very nicely. But yes, we have to offer. Therefore, we have to offer to make it pure.
Great.
Okay.
I was supposed to ask you this question only. How do you plan to bring about a change in the world? But I think you have already mentioned that you want to teach people this Sattvik cooking.
Krishna willing and devotee's blessing, and Guru Maharaj's blessing. If it is their desire, then I think anything can happen in this world. Yeah, I don't care, even if it's not me, somebody else. I'll be equally happy. Equally happy.
Great. Would you one last question?
Yeah.
You have been practicing bhakti for so many years. You have been selflessly serving, especially through this medium of cooking. Radhanath Maharaj, your guru, and all the Vaishnavas. What has been your realization for all these years of selfless service?
Okay, I mean, I don't know whether it was selfless or not. I was sincere, that much I can say. Because this world is such a complicated place, the body, mind, everything is involved. To say it is selfless is a big word, which I don't want to claim. But I was sincere. So in the process, what happens? What happens is we get attached to Krishna, we get attached to chanting Hare Krishna, and I think that's the biggest reward in this process. The biggest reward is that you are able to develop attachment for Krishna. And of course, Guru and Vaishnavas. But something unknown becomes very attractive and gives a lot of hope. So, what I would say to conclude, everything changes in this changing world, everything, dynamic world, changes in this. But what should not change within the changing thing is devotion to the Lord's lotus feet. And that is I was speaking in the beginning, the force that pushes you to change is this. If that conviction is there within, in Krishna's lotus feet, then we can dare to change things, which is usually very scary. You stayed monk as 20 years and stepping out, what's going to happen? But look how Krishna's arrangement, I met Hansapriya and we're settled here. I have everything. I have a home. And I also have a home in Bhubaneswar. My mother still lives there. My mother and brother still live there. And things just happens. And so therefore the conviction is able to help you to take that bold step. Sometimes if it is required to change, let's change it. If it brings better things, like when I decided to change I could have made some money, good money, but I decided to move to ashram life. That faith helps you to make that move. And that's if that conviction increases step by step in life, that's the biggest reward. That's the biggest reward.
Great. What a wonderful way to conclude, that we need to focus on bhakti as the unchanging factor in all the other changes that happens in life. Yours has been a very great journey from Odisha to IIT Mumbai to monk, to a master chef, to a cook for Radhanath Maharaj, and now in California, settled, married. Great, Roji. I'm very grateful that you took your precious time to be with all of us.
It's a great pleasure.
And our best wishes that, through the medium of that yogi plate, you can actually teach people this culture of Sattvik cooking, and this wisdom of Gita, you can actually
please
transform the hearts of people. Yes, Ro.
Thank you for that blessings and prayer. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ro.
My Buddhism to all the devotees in Goa.
Yes. Thank you, Ro.
Hope to see you sometime in person.
Surely.
Yeah. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.